sitting down here, 60 mile an hour. Hey! Bloody front's good, but rear's a bit. It damps alright, it really does, but it's if you go daft with it, you're going to end up with your luggage smacking you in the ass. But you know, winder on there. Alright, this, I'll tell you. Yeah, that's what you get for drinking too much and watching YouTube and having eBay on the computer. So, I was watching a few Himalayan videos and I had a look on eBay, and there was nobody in anyway. I probably had one too many and pressed the bid button. And then I woke up in the morning and the bid was accepted. And then I realised I'd bid on the bike that was 300 mile away instead of 100 mile away. So I ended up ringing the bloke up, apologising, paying his relisting fees. And I jumped on the big banger, rode down to Chesterfield to see the one I should have been on. Anyway, I bought it. I was just curious. I'm looking for something a little bit more road orientated. I'm fancying doing the Portuguese trails, you know, the Trans-Portugal route done before, which I enjoyed. That's mostly twin track, a few dodgy bits thrown in here and there. So anyway, a couple of days later, and a really boring train ride, I picked the Royal Enfield Himalayan up from the bloke, and she didn't even know I existed. I rode it home through Peak District and then into the rush hour traffic, Manchester Ring Road, and I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty decent on the road. You know, first impressions count. To be honest, when I rode it out, you know, out his house through the village, it was a bit clinky clanky and juddery wuddery, and you're going along for a couple of miles thinking, what have I done here? But as soon as you get it going, and you get used to it, it's quite a pleasant mannered thing. I mean, anyone who's never owned a single cylinder or a thumper are going to find it a different animal than a twin or a four, obviously. But if you've owned a few, you know, thumpers, I'll be honest, it's as good, if not better than most, when it comes to vibration and road manners. Anyway, I enjoyed that. The standard tyres are they're no good for the UK in the winter, so I ordered some tyres. Well, I had a front E13, a rally, but I bought a rear to match. I think it's an E12, like a E09, except different apparently. But I've always found them decent enough, and I'd disappear for a weekend and then come back, and here we are, first time out on the Himalayan. So yeah, I'm 6'1", about 15 stone, and surprisingly I find it quite comfy. They've done a good job, where your knees go, and the bend in your leg is quite acceptable, and it's ever so low to the floor, so you can catch it when it goes wrong, which is one of the problems with me CRF. I'm all tricked up. It's 940mm seat height on CRF, and this is 830, something like that, I think. So I adjusted the seat, little seat cushion on it, put this permanent temporary thing on just to raise the screen, and I find it pretty damn comfy. I've only just noticed the blokes put different handlebar blocks on, makes them a bit too near. I only noticed that this morning, but I've tilted the bars forward a little bit, and I find the standing position really very neutral. It's quite good, and the seat to the stand works quite well. I mean, someone's thought about the triangulation on this, with a view to off-road. It's very slim around the waist, where your knees go, and your knees lock into that top of that seat really well. Foot pegs are excellent. I take the rubbers out. People say they vibrate. Well, it's only now I've mentioned it I even think about it. There's nothing there that I think is unreasonable for a single cylinder bike. What has surprised me is the engine. It doesn't. When you first ride it, the throttle's very long, and you think, well, hang on a sec, but if you open it, like 30 mile an hour, third gear, and $60 miles an hour, and I mean, you got to remember it is a 450. It might be a heavy one, which we'll come to in a bit, but I mean, just revving it, up to around 5.5. You can skip along very, very pleasantly. And the fifth and sixth gear are long, so when you're on the highway, it's not buzzing its nuts off. It's from memory, it's doing about 5,500 revs at 70. And unusually, it's only 2 mile an hour out off the sat nav. 70 mile an hour on this clock is 68 mile an hour true. So the clocks are pretty accurate, and 70 mile an hour cruising is effortless. You know, in the terms of a 450, it just doesn't feel stressed or overly busy. If you push it into the mid-70s and 80s, I could feel some vibes through the handlebars. The footrest never bothered me, but nothing there, unless you're sensitive to it, that I call any kind of a deal breaker. So with these knob tyres on, you know, the road manners have, you know, gone as you'd expect, a little bit less sharp. But I'm used to them, you know, that's the payback, isn't it? Because if you keep them standard things on, you just be in fear of your mortal life, you know. So I'm not doing anything fancy. This is just some local tracks that I know well. But you could travel quite well on this. There's nothing. Hey! Curious about the suspension a little bit, because I found it pretty decent on the road, and seems to hold up well. You know, I've had it on some of the old coach roads, and the first impressions here are pretty promising. I'm finding it pretty plush on these kart tracks or roads. It's sharp edge here. One thing I've found is that the rear's quite well damped, but it's a little bit under the rebound's not quite strong enough. It's a bit bouncy. So there's nothing here that's oh, that's a bit skittish there. These tyre presses are still a bit hard, I reckon. Okay. Some of these potholes are fairly sharp, and the bloody front is doing pretty well. But I know this isn't sort of hard trail riding or anything, but what are we doing here? 55, getting up to 60 mile an hour. There's plenty of power. I mean, I don't want to go any faster just at the moment, but you know, this will bang along at 70 without any big issue. Bit muddy there. I'll tell you what, you know, I've been down here on all sorts of different bikes, you know, CRFs, CCMs, WRs, T7s, XTs, so I know, you know, I have a reference point. This doesn't feel half bad, to be honest. The front suspension on this is surprisingly decent. Quite surprised by it, because these aren't hey, that's that back kicking up a bit, but it's only 8 inches of travel. It damps well. It's so low that the weight, you know, good steering lock, and that doesn't feel tippy, you know. It is heavy on paper, but they've done and I keep seeing these things about you know, how heavy it is to take off the side stand and all the rest of it. And I guess if you've got little legs, I understand the problem, but all I've done is bolted a ice hockey puck to it, and crimes, I mean, I'm knocking on 70, and I don't know what the fuss is about, because it's a low centre of gravity, you know. I'm literally knocking on 70, and if you can't, you know, they're telling me it's heavy. If you can't take that off a side stand, you best be on a push bike. I just don't understand where all this bloody drama is coming from. It's nonsense. You know, if you're over 5'7" and fit and healthy, you know, you need to give your head a wobble. So let's give it a bit of sitting down here, 60 mile an hour. Hey! Bloody front's good, but rear's a bit. It damps all right, it really does. But it's if you go daft with it, you're going to end up with your luggage smacking you in the ass. But you know, winder on there. All right, this, I'll tell you. I think we'll slide the screen down out the way. You can. I've made it. It's an ugly bloody thing, but I've made it so you can take it straight off if you want to. But it tucks down okay. Yeah, bloke I bought it off. Put this bigger screen on, and with me extender thing, it's pretty decent protection. Not very good without it. But, yeah, he bought it and decided it wasn't for him. He preferred his GS. Nice bloke. Did me a good deal. Doesn't even know I'm here, this bloke, does he? Yeah, so £4.5 grand, 24 plate, 1,000 mile up, service done. Yeah, you don't get so much now for £4.5 grand. I was just curious. I just wanted to have a go at something a bit different, and everyone's on about the, you know, the MT 450, and I wanted to do something earlier than that. You know, wait until February, March, and then not really been able to ride one properly, and I'm not doing any comparison with the MT. I have ridden one briefly, not enough to make any proper judgment, but there's nothing wrong with the Royal Enfield if you bit scrabbly down here. Third gear, just doing a typical single, shuddering its nuts off till it decides what it's going to do. That's a bit wobbly, that stuff. But I wouldn't like to be chucking it down here on the standard tyres, that's for sure. Bloody kill yourself. Just taking it, a lot of compacted mud here, you know, from big lorries, which it's worse than deep mud, isn't it? Just have that film on the top. The brakes are very good. The rear, if anything, is too strong. So see what it's like on these. This is choppy. It's pretty bloody good, you know. I'll tell you now, it's better than I expected it to be by quite a big margin. I really didn't think it would be. It feels like it's supposed to be here, you know. I mean, you know, you watch the videos, you listen to the marketing hype and all the rest of it, and Himalayas, blah blah blah. But until you cut your leg over one, you can't really sort of tell. So let's see. I mean, there's plenty of pickup. Plenty of pickup. Let's turn it round, see what it's like. Easy as peas to turn. And your legs that close to the ground, that there's no tippy toeing on this. Easy to stand. So let's put it in third. We'll just go, you know, steady. Some of these are, I won't go mad through deep ones. Let's put it in third and let it move a bit. Hey! Boosh. I put rear preload about halfway. And bearing in mind I've got the luggage on. Probably do with a little bit more, but you know, in fairness to the thing, you know, I'm you know, toting around 15-18 kilograms of crap on the back of this, and we've got a bit of weight over the rear. Never bothered taking the ABS off. You have to be careful with that rear brake if you're going to, you know, unlock the ABS, because yeah, you have to be careful. It's powerful, that rear brake. Bit skittish, these hard packed mud, you know. Tyre tread's only good if it can dig into it, into. Well, I lap this up all day. It's very, very good. I didn't think I'd be going, you know, quite as fast as this so quickly. They're not picking up in third, you know. He's alright, is that? You know, he just dropped back onto the road. Crap. It's like here with this green stuff. That's why you might be, you know, you're riding at night, you might be glad of that ABS if you know. So just leave it in third. Bit of wheel spin in third there, eh? It's choppy here, there's like bits of brick sticking up and stuff. There's a big hole here. Tell you what, given it's a £4 budget bike, that ain't bad. Yeah, nice bloke I bought it from, very gentle weight. That's what he done. 1,000 miles. I noticed he's been averaging 94 miles to the gallon, so he's not been caning it, has he? I'm getting somewhere in the low 70s, but I'm riding a little bit like you see, like I'm riding. I think it was 70 mile an hour, you know, dicking around like that, it's not bad. These handguards aren't up to much. They're braced on the bloody mirror mount. It had some wacky engine bars, I've stripped them off. They were too dangerous for your legs. Simple hockey puck, the 2 screws there to stop it turning, and just chamfer the edge off, you know, so it clears the swinging arm. But when the centre stands up, it doesn't get anywhere near it anyway. It's just a simple rubber hockey puck. They're about 10 quid a dozen on Amazon. The other thing I wanted the seat height. You probably find seat slopes, and back to the hockey pucks again, isn't it? Really solid rubber. Them they'll stay on that side stand for years. But what I did, I've raised it at the front so you can see it's got that funny lip. Now, if you're particular, you know, it's not for you. I'm not. But I've just self-tapped. There's 2 holes in here, and I've just self-tapped 2 rubber blocks on, because as you will know, or you may know, that the back seat holds on the front seat, and yeah, those 2 prongs sit on those 2 rubber blocks, and if you just I mean, from memory I think it was about 20 mil, but that's now jammed in. So I've got the front bar on the high, the low bar on the low, and it evens the seat out, stops you sliding forward. And early doors yet, but everything seems to stay in place. What you end up with gap there and a gap here. As I say, nothing's perfect, but it solved the problem. You know, it's much more comfortable like that. You know, that constant sort of your family heirloom slipping forward stops that happening. And to be honest, other than taking the engine bars off, I've done nothing to it. It's as it come. Even put a rear rack on for me. God bless him. And it'll do. I mean, you know, there's no point in going nuts trying to save weight on this. It is what it is. Try not to add too much and just ride as is. And you know, I'd just say as it is. I mean, if I didn't like it, I'd just put it back on bloody eBay and be done with it, you know, before but I think it's got legs. I think it's alright, is that? We'll have to see. As long as she's reliable. Seems to be getting a reputation for building a few miles with a few of the riders there. You know, considering it's a bog standard bike, carrying, you know, there's a concrete guard now in there wrapped in a coat. The other side's full of tubes and tools. That was just to even it up, put some weight in, just to see what it's like. I'm on preloads on, what's it on? About halfway, and it could do with maybe going 3/4 or all the way with, you know, but I haven't bottomed out yet. To be fair, I mean, I haven't gone like too nuts with it, but I think it might do if you know, it gets a bit faster or a bit more abrupt. But it's not bad, just bounces a lot back. Front's not so bad. The front suspension, you know, I've been around a few dirt bikes in my time and they've done a pretty decent job with that. Keeps the whole thing in check very well. The only thing I've noticed when I'm turning it round and one of these, you know, boggy field, I want to back it up and you could feel weight. Easy to get your feet down, but you could feel the bloody weight of it, you know, having to push in a fair old lump backwards like. But when you're riding it, it's very nicely balanced. Is there anything I don't like? Not a lot to complain about, is there? Hey, it's going to be a little bit compromised if you go in really deep ruts with width of these, you know, the peg to peg. It's pretty wide, but it's narrow in the middle. It's lovely to, you know, good position to get your legs wrapped around it. And as others have said, it's not so bad where I are. Lots of rockers, so maybe do something with fender and definitely a bash plate. I think with it being low in ground clearance, like it's going to take a bang here and there at some stage. So try and do something with that. But these are things, these aren't criticisms. I mean, these are things you'd normally address on most bikes you buy. So all in all, yeah, I mean, it's hard to not. Just walk it over. Let's see what it's like to turn round with this weight. Obviously using the camber light, but easy as peas, isn't it? You could always use the side stand if it's tight. You know, turn it round on side stand light. So instead of acting the goat, let's looking quite good, you know. Let's just see what it's like going slow. Let's put it in first. And take the fly out my eye. So it's ticking over in first. And it's pretty well balanced, you know, it's uphill a little here, just lugging. Not stalling though. You know, and if you use a little bit of rear brake, a little bit of clutch. Pretty, you can pick your way through. It's well balanced. You know, stop and go. Try it in second. Well, it's the same thing. Watch it don't stall. But the clutch is quite nice to modulate. It's you know, we're in second gear there, and yeah, all right. Not much feel to it, but you can feel the engagement. And the fueling's good. I mean, it's ticking over now, no clutch being used. And if you want to nudge it just a few millimetres, it's, you know, it trundles on. But what's surprising is that if you open the throttle, you know, from tick over, clutch engaged, you open the throttle like now, it'll just go. There's no clutch there. That's pretty impressive. The fueling is keep missing the rear brake. Shouldn't do, it's that bloody big. Yeah, that's quite impressive. Third gear, fourth gear, fifth gear, sixth gear, 60. It's quite acceptable. You're probably not the most sophisticated thing you'll ever ride, but not many thumpers are they? So, quite relaxed here, 4500 revs and 60, 45, 4600 revs. And minimal vibration. And no, it's a bit cheeky here, but if I want to roll on, let's say I want to pick it up to 70 in 6th gear, so open it up. There's your 70. It doesn't feel at all stressed in that zone at all. It doesn't feel over busy or out of its depth. It's quite capable of doing a little bit of distance, I think. They'll be having you off. Just put it in third. Let third be the doing gear. Big hole here. I'll be honest, you know, you're not going to be intimidated by it. It's such a linear delivery, but you know, if you open it, she'll bob on a bit. Nice riding position, you know, to grip the tank. Feel very locked in. Don't know what it's like here for slippiness, so we'll take it easy. But yeah, I could lock right into to that seat, right into it. So when I accelerate, you know, my legs are really holding that bike nicely. Make sure there's nobody about. This looks like fun, doesn't it? There's a lot of silt in the bottom of these. I know my way around here. It's but one or two of these have got, like, you know, some real horrible 2 or 3 inches silt. So you don't want to be charging these when it's wet. It's such an easy thing to manage. Yeah, it's been thought out well. Let's turn it round here where it's awkward. Easy as peas, isn't it? slightly less deep this way, I think. He says as he falls in. It's not the place to hit an house brick, is it? Ach, you know. Yep. Fucking boots. Yeah, get your knees locked right into that tank. You use your knees, you know, big hit there, managed to bounce it. Not half bad, you know. There's some biggish hits here, choppy. Very responsive on the throttle if you open it. And it makes a nice noise, doesn't it? You know, if you open it. Yeah, we're getting a sweat on there. Yeah, I can steer this, you know, with your knees very nicely. Front brake's perfect, really, for this kind of environment. But I'd say the rear, if anything, is a little bit too urgent. Let's try them. I've had a run down here and it seems so bad. Let's just, so that's 40 in third, 55, 67 and 70 mile an hour, no trouble. So we're got a headwind here and we're slightly uphill and just showing just over 70 mile an hour. And it's comfortable at that. A few vibes through the handlebars, nothing dramatic. But if you want to, you know, overtake, just wind it on. And even there, you know, I mean, it really doesn't feel stressed. I mean, it's revving just over 6 and it's got full luggage on, quite a strong headwind. I'm a big unit. And anyone who's ridden, you know, owned a few thumpers would not be arguing with, you know, vibration here. It's a typical thumper. Typical thumper. And it feels to me like, you know, it's showing 80 miles an hour here, 6,300 revs or something. And it feels to me like it'll do it all day. It really does. Still, I don't know what the red line is. It's got a 9 on it, so still a third of the way to the red line. But it doesn't feel mechanically stressed. It doesn't feel like you know, you're abusing it. you can plod along, you know, quite reasonably, you know, in the mid-70s without having any drama about it. I think on a better day you can probably hear the wind. It's quite strong. On a nice calmer day it'll be easier going. The wacky screen thing is doing a good job, the slidey up screen. Be a bit miserable without it because it's quite gusty. If I pop my head up here you'll probably hear it. So yeah, not wind it up. Picks up well, doesn't it? You know, it's not like it's you know, struggling. I really don't know what the top speed of this would be because to be honest I'm not really interested. I would think with these tyres on, you know, 80 mile an hour is you know, it's as sensible as you need to get with it. You know, if you start acting the goat, you know, with I mean, you know, with the 70-30 tyres on, that's another thing, really. To be honest, I mean, these tyres won't be rolling anywhere near as nicely as the originals that were on it. It's a little bit vibey, it doesn't bother me. It's better than a lot of thumpers. I'm not sensitive to it, it doesn't bother me. If it did I'd just say so, but it doesn't. But it's more than capable of holding the mid-70s. I mean, that's not the right road really to demonstrate it, but you know, if you open the throttle up in 6 it'll wang its way up to 80 with very little trouble. It has an ability to rev out, and at the top end between 6 and 8,000 it's got another little kick. It's quite linear, but it does have a definite little kick at the top end. So first day out, I've got no complaints at all really. It's going to be I've got to keep it. It's got legs, I think. Been a little bit surprised by it, to be honest. Such an easy little thing to manage. Just doesn't feel anywhere near as heavy as what, you know, the paper says. Oh, hey! Just keep off that green stuff. But these are clutchless changes. £70 mph, no trouble. Lucky dozy bastards, them things. It's like the feathered variety of sheep, isn't it? Quite rough down here. Hey! Spinning the back wheel in third gear. Like a hooligan. And put it into fourth. It just goes again. Quite distressed, this stuff, and bloody suspension's very good. You know, to be fair, you know, this is the brief the bike was designed for, and they've done well with it. I think they've done a cracking job with it. I'm kind of relieved today that that it's worked out as well as it has. Anyway, going for a brew. See you later. Right.